This real romantic story happened many years ago. A young student, Ben, was very fond of reading. He was a regular reader in one of the libraries in Florida. Once he got interested in one book, interesting was not so much the plot as the notes made in the margins by the previous reader. Behind the dim handwriting was a shrewd, inquisitive mind. Ben made a lot of effort but found the address of the former owner of the book. Miss Mabel lived in Boston. He wrote to her about himself and offered to correspond with each other, not suspecting what a cruel ordeal she would put him through. The next day, he was conscripted to the front. The Second World War began. For a year, they corresponded more and more, getting to know each other better through letters. Love between them bloomed like a spring garden, and with each letter, it only became stronger. More than once in his messages, he begged her to send a photo, but she invariably refused him. "If your intentions are serious," she wrote, "it doesn't matter what I look like." The day came when he returned to his homeland, and they agreed to meet for the first time at 7 o'clock at Boston South Station. Exactly at the appointed time, he was at the train station and was waiting for a girl whose heart he loved. But he had never seen her face. He was waiting for a girl with a rose. He got up from the bench, clamping the blue book in his hands, by which he was supposed to be recognized, and began to stare intently into the crowd of people. A beautiful blonde girl with bright blue eyes was walking towards him. She surprised him so much that he involuntarily went to her, completely forgetting about the rose. When there were a few steps left between them, she smiled and said, "You're blocking my way." And then right behind her, Ben saw Miss Mabel. A bright red rose shone on her jacket. In front of him stood a very plump woman who was already in her 40s. Bitter disappointment filled Ben's heart, so eager to catch up with the slender blonde. But the affection and gratitude of this woman, whose letters gave Ben strength and support during the most difficult time of his life, won. Without hesitation, Ben approached the kind woman and said, "I'm Ben. Are you Miss Mabel? I'm so glad we finally met. Can I invite you to dinner?" The woman smiled. "I don't know what you're talking about, but that young girl who just left asked me to wear this rose. She said that if you invite me to dinner, you can find her at that restaurant." Ben and Mabel got married. Somewhat, this is a story of each of us. We have all met such people in our lives, people with roses. Those who do not want to approach us at all have no place in our hearts. Mabel did a background check on Ben, a depth test on his character. If he had turned his back on the unattractive, he would have lost the love of his life. Think about those people you do not care about. Look into the unattractive and forgotten. Let this be your test.